Proud of the way our guys finished, never gave up. One of our team commandments is Clemson football is 60 minutes or as long as it takes to finish. And I think it was definitely that kind of game on Saturday. But when you have the adversity that we had, I mean, we moved the ball really well. And then just getting down in the red zone, turning the ball over. And that can get very frustrating for the guys. And I felt like they responded well every time they went back out there. They didn't let that carry over. Watching the video, there was a lot of great things. I mean, there was about 5 or 6 plays that were costly errors, but outside of that, it was a very clean game. A lot of really good things on video. I think we had 1 3 and out, and then we had 1 drive where we threw the pick 6 on the first play. Only had 2 punts in the ball game, had 91 plays, and 495 yards against a very talented defense. So there was a lot of positives. Obviously, the biggest negatives everybody could pick out, and that was the 4 turnovers, 3 inside the red zone. And if we don't turn the ball over, it's a completely different game. We don't put ourselves in that situation, and I have no doubt we'll get that corrected. It's a good time for our bye week, kind of get back to some of our fundamentals and continue to get better. Some of the bright spots, Deshaun being 39 of 52, 75%, 378 yards. I think our wideouts had 31 catches for 300 yards, 100 yards after the catch, versus a talented group over there. You got to give them credit. They made you earn every yard that you got. There was always somebody there. They didn't have anybody just left wide open. But really pleased with the way that our guys continued to battle in the face of some adversity. Looking forward to the open week. Have some good practice time this week, really to kind of midpoint of the year to get back and lock in on some fundamentals and get better at some things like we always want to do during our open week. FSU obviously will be a big challenge. Haven't won down there since 2006, so that's something that will definitely be talked about, and our guys will be looking forward to going down there and playing well. Probably the most talented defensive front that we've faced this year. Walker's very talented. I personally recruited him since he was in the 10th grade. Knew he's going to be a great player, and he ended up at Florida State having a great year. But that's the thing that really stands out about their defense is the play of the defensive linemen. I know they've had some injuries in the back end, but really looking at the last 2 games, held both Miami and Wake Forest under 300 yards. Looks like they're getting some good continuity back there in the back end and playing some of their best ball. So it'll be a great challenge like it always is down there in Tallahassee, and one that we'll be ready for whenever that time comes. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
You look at some of the turnovers against Louisville and against NC State, their second effort turnovers where guys are fighting for that extra yard. How do you coach that? Because you don't want to take away their aggressiveness. So how do you coach that? Yeah,
it'd be one thing if a lot of these were coming. I think the one Saturday where the ball was in a bad position was Mike Williams' turnover. And Mike thinks the corners missed the tackle. He thinks he's going in to score if he can hold himself up. Really a very acrobatic move to be able to stay up on his feet. And then a guy came from inside, knocked the ball out. That was really the only turnover where the ball was in a bad position. The one on Wayne Gallman, I think the hit's what knocked, the ball came out. He had the ball in a really good spot. And then, Tyshawn just had it pulled out from him. But it's like I was talking to Mike yesterday whenever we were watching the play and talking about how you got to practice keeping the ball high and tight even whenever you got your opposite hand on the ground. And so after we talked through that a little bit, what we can do better, I said, what we're going to do next time we get in that same situation? I said, we're going to throw you the ball. I mean, that's what we're going to do. I think Kobe Bryant said at one time, I'll go 0 for 30 before I go 0 for 11. And, we have a lot of confidence in our guys. Sometimes, unfortunately, the turnovers kind of come in bunches a little bit. We had, 5 against Louisville and then 0 against Boston College, and then came back out and had some costly ones this past week. So, it's very similar to drops. You're going to address it. You're going to coach it in practice like we've been doing, and maybe find some drills during the open week to help the guys with it, but it's not something we're going to make a huge deal about. And I think that's the wrong way to go, is really to pound these guys about it. They're not trying to turn the ball over. Like you said, they're trying to make plays. And, you got to give them credit too. And I went back and watched the tape. Really, all 3 fumbles, their guy had a big part in those too, with the hit they had on Gallman, and then a great effort play on Mike Williams' fumble, and then great effort by I think the same guy that caused the fumble on Gallman's the one that ripped it out there from Tyshawn. So give them credit, but it's definitely something that our guys will get corrected here as we get ready for the back end of the season.
Are there times when a player should kind of quit while he's ahead situationally? Mike Williams had just picked up a first down. He had a similar one at Auburn where he's fighting for extra yards. Or do you applaud that second effort and just ensure that they
no, I don't think Mike Williams' situation Saturday. I think he thinks he's about to go score. And he's holding himself up, and the guy kind of comes out of nowhere, and he's out there to the field by himself. That's not a situation where we tell the guys to go down. There are other situations where maybe they're kind of got you gang tackled a little bit. You got 2 or 3 guys holding you up, and they're trying to hold you up to pull the ball out. And once you've got as much as you can get, then at that point we want to go down so they don't pull it out. But I think Mike's situation, is just perfect timing. The ball got out away from him the same time the guy got there to make the tackle. And so he's just got to learn to keep it closer to his body the whole time, and don't ever assume that somebody's not there, because that's usually when the fumbles happen, is guys that you don't see. And so that's kind of more of that situation.
Deshaun comes into the year wanting to improve on what was a pretty remarkable year last year. Accuracy been something that he can improve on, just what he's shown the first 7 games here?
Absolutely. I think he, along with all of our guys, that's really what you do at this is a really nice time for our open week, by the way, just 7 weeks in. I think it's perfect. So that's really what each position on our whole team is doing during this week, is really evaluating some of the positive things that we've done, and then some of the things that we need to improve in as we get ready for the last half of the season. But I definitely think that Deshaun has some things that he wants to work on, and he's thrown some really nice balls too. Some of you just take for granted some of the strikes that he throws, and but that comes with the territory. A guy as talented as him, and he definitely has some that he knows he can make and that he will make. But it's no different than Mike Williams, great wideout, has some other plays that he can make. So we don't make a huge deal about one guy or anything like that. But this is a big time for us this week to really focus on ourselves before we really get ready for Florida State, and find some things to improve on as we get ready to make this run.
Film review of the pick 6.
Yeah, he didn't see the guy. They ran a little trap coverage over there, something a little bit different than your normal play, and he just didn't see him. He was throwing to Dion, and the guy was sitting right there and made a nice play.
What were the conversations on Saturday with Tony and Dabo, involving Feaster and possibly, I know Dabo said at one point he wanted to put him in, but Tony said no. Can you talk us through that, what that conversation was like, and why you guys ultimately didn't play?
Yeah, Coach Swinney's always involved. It's really personnel is something we talk about every day, practice. Our coaches, as y'all know, we spend 80 hours a week up here. Every step they make from the time they walk in the building to the time they walk out is evaluated, watched until midnight at night. So I think as coaches, we all feel very comfortable when we go into a game as far as what the pecking order is for your positions. The same thing. Nobody's asked me why Cornell Powell hadn't played. Nobody asked me why DeAndre Overton didn't play. Very talented freshmen. But they have some other guys that are a little bit more experienced when you're playing in a game where every single play the game is on the line. And that's not a time to break a guy out. Last week against Boston College, we're up by a bunch. Let's give guys opportunities to go out and make plays. And they did that. That's a different situation than, the game's on the line every single play. So, Coach always gives us the freedom to kind of play the guys, but there's been a lot of conversations leading up to that way. So, yeah, there's conversations about who do we want to go with here, and, we worked our way down, gave Choice some opportunity. gave Tyshawn, and then CJ. And then CJ really got hot and was running the ball really well. We're moving the ball. And so I think if CJ maybe didn't do as well, then there would have been opportunities for Feaster to go in. But I think those last few drives, we got in rhythm, and CJ was running the ball well. And that doesn't mean that, Tavion's not going to get his opportunity. That's coming, but it just has a pecking order you have to work through. And, as coaches, you just have to go with your gut feeling. And that's of 80 hours a week for how many ever weeks these guys have been here. You got to go with your gut feeling. I mean, you're rolling guys based off of what you've seen in practice and all the different memories that you have throughout practice and other games and those type situations. But it was not the biggest issue came after the game when everybody started asking the question. It was not an issue on the headsets, or it wasn't a major deal at all to us or to the team, because I think everybody kind of knows, where everybody is, and they have to earn their stripes, and he'll get other opportunities, just like these young wideouts will too.
So y'all trust him enough if that kind of opportunity does present itself, you trust him enough to go in there and perform?
Yes, we trust him enough as the fifth guy. That would have been the situation to go in there. And now that these other guys have had some opportunities, it could change, what order they go in the next game. That's just something that each week the coaches have to, make those decisions. And, but like we talked about every week, there's a lot more things to it than just, go running the ball whenever you're up 35 points. There's a lot of things involved. I mean, NC State, they're bringing guys all over the place, very physical team. Pass protection is a big issue, so there's a lot more involved with it than just running the ball. But we like Tavion. He's going to be a great player. There's no doubt about it. And when the times present themselves for him to get opportunities, then he'll get those opportunities.
Coach Ray has had 3 or 4 drop punts in the last few games. Is there anything you see from a technique standpoint, or is it just mental?
Yeah, I think some of it is fundamental. That's things he's got to continue to work on. The biggest thing is he's not getting behind the ball and getting underneath the ball. He's trying to catch the ball going backwards sometimes. He had one of those situations Saturday where he thought he was underneath it, and the ball blew about 2 yards further over his head, and he got in a bad situation having to turn around and catch it going backwards. And so he'll be getting a lot of more work on that this week, and hopefully he can do a better job of holding on to the ball, because we think he's got good ability to run after the catch. If he can find a way to secure the ball, number one.
You mentioned that Clemson hasn't won at Florida State since 2006. What do you think's made Tallahassee such a tough place to win?
Well, number one, the team that's playing in Tallahassee, they're very good. I think we recruit very well every year, and they're right there with us, if not ranked above us every single year. So they're a very talented team. They always play well against us, no matter how they've played up until that point. And then they've made the plays and we haven't. We've had opportunities to win the last couple times that we've been down there, and and just we're not able to capitalize on them. But really, it was one of the situations before the year. We kind of talking to the offense, big picture wise. We had opportunities to go down and win at Auburn, which I don't think we hadn't played down there a whole bunch, but hadn't won down there since 1950. We knew we were going to have a road trip at Georgia Tech. We hadn't won down there since 2003. And then we knew we had a road trip to Florida State, where we hadn't won since 2006. So it's just another good challenge for a group, a team, and especially these offensive guys that have been around for a while that have accomplished an awful lot of things that haven't been done around here in a long time. So it's just kind of another goal for those guys to kind of put an end to that. Obviously, it won't be something that's a major focus. We got to get ready to go play the game. But I know the guys would like to be the ones that kind of turn around that trend.
How nostalgic is it for you every time you go down there to Tallahassee?
Yeah, I guess it's probably a little bit less each and every year. First couple of times, especially whenever I was playing, it was definitely a little bit different for me. But I mean, it's changed a lot, and now since I got here in '99, I've been around Clemson, for about 17, 18 years, and so this is obviously more of a home. But Yeah, I had great memories growing up. I mean, just like all these coaches' kids are out here running around. I mean, that was me at Florida State back in the day, and very fortunate that Bobby Bowden allowed the coaches' kids to be involved and be around as much as he did, because without that, I might not have got into coaching. But because of my experience down there, that was such a great experience. It got in my blood at an early age, so definitely have great memories, childhood down there.
That trap coverage they had on the pick six, the late shift they had there, was that something that y'all had seen before?
Yeah, and they had done it earlier in the game. It's really not for a passing situation. It's really for a running situation. It's a similar coverage to what Vic Koenig liked to run, trap coverage. He used to do a lot of it to the field. It was just in the boundary. And basically what they're doing is they're just inserting the corner into that cylinder there, or the outside flats, instead of inserting the safety. The safety goes over the top to cover the wide out, and the corner is inside where you can't block him. So really it's a run call more than anything, and especially to teams that run the zone read, to have an extra hat in the alley for the quarterback. And, and Deshaun just made a mistake, and when he looked over there, he thought the corner was off. He didn't know that was the safety that was off and the corner inside. Corner did a good job disguising it at the last second and made a good play. All right. Sounds good. Appreciate it.
I have a dumb question for you.
All right.